Dave and the large diamond in the bustling city of Bristol, where the sun's golden rays danced off towering skyscrapers and the streets hummed with the energy of urban life, there lived a man named Dave. He wasn't a particularly remarkable man, not in any way that drew attention. His life was simple, anchored in routine, and comfortably uneventful. He worked as a mechanic at a small auto shop just off the main street, fixing everything from clunky old trucks to sleek, modern sports cars. His hands were calloused from years of labor, and his face was often smudged with grease. But to those who knew him, Dave was the picture of humility and honesty. One chilly October evening, just as the last golden leaves fluttered from the trees, something extraordinary happened. It began as an ordinary Thursday, but it would end with a series of events that would change Dave's life forever. The evening started like any other. Dave had just finished repairing a vintage convertible when he was about to lock up the shop for the night. He was ready to go home to his small, one-bedroom apartment, where he would cook himself a simple dinner and maybe catch up on the news. But as he turned off the lights, he noticed something strange and old, battered box sitting on the workbench. It wasn't something he'd seen before. It was a wooden box, carved with intricate symbols that seemed almost ancient. Its surface was worn and chipped, as if it had traveled through many hands, across many miles. It was out of place in the otherwise orderly shop. Curious, Dave approached it. He opened the lid, expecting to find tools or old car parts. But inside, nestled in a velvet cushion, was something that immediately caught his breath. A large diamond? It wasn't just any diamond. It was enormous, easily the size of a fist, and it shimmered with an otherworldly glow. The light in the shop seemed to bend around it, casting strange reflections on the walls. Dave's heart raced as he reached out, his fingers trembling as they brushed against the cold surface of the gemstone. It felt as though the diamond was alive, pulsing with an energy all its own. Dave's first thought was that it must be some kind of joke, a prank left by one of his co-workers or a mischievous customer. But no, the box felt real, and the diamond. It was too perfect. He wondered if it was worth millions. Could it be from some ancient treasure, lost to time? Or was it a product of a master jeweler, crafted for some mysterious purpose? As he stared at the diamond, his thoughts were interrupted by the sound of a door opening. Dave snapped to attention. In the doorway stood a man, a tall figure cloaked in shadows, his features obscured. The man stepped forward, his eyes fixed on the diamond with a hunger Dave had never seen before. "You found it," the stranger said, his voice smooth and low, almost as if he were speaking from a dream. "The diamond. I've been looking for it for years." Dave's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean, looking for it? What's so special about this thing?" The stranger's eyes glinted as he moved closer. "That diamond is more than just a gem. It's a key one that opens doors to worlds beyond our own, to realms of unimaginable wealth and power. But only a select few can wield it, and now it seems you are one of them." Dave felt a chill run down his spine. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said, his voice shaky. "I just found it here in the shop." "It was left for me, I guess." The stranger smiled, but it wasn't a warm smile. It was the smile of someone who knew something Dave didn't, and he wasn't sure he wanted to learn. "The diamond chose you, Dave. That's how it works. You'll never be able to get rid of it. It will guide you, whether you want it to or not." Before Dave could respond, the man moved quickly, his hand snaking out to grab the diamond. But Dave was quicker. He snatched it from the cushion and clutched it tightly, his heart racing. "I'm not giving it to you," Dave said, his voice now filled with determination. "I don't know who you are, but I don't trust you." The stranger's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, there was a tense silence between them. Then, with a shrug, the man turned and vanished into the night, as mysteriously as he had appeared. Dave stood frozen in the shop, the diamond still gripped tightly in his hand. For the next few days, Dave couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Strange things began to happen. At night, he would hear soft whispers in the shadows, voices that seemed to be calling his name. He saw flickers of movement out of the corner of his eye, always just beyond his reach. But when he turned, there was never anyone there. The diamond seemed to have a hold on him, drawing him in. It was as if it were speaking to him, urging him to do things he didn't understand. The more he tried to ignore it, the more persistent the strange occurrences became. One evening, after another restless night, Dave decided to investigate the diamond's origins. He went to the city library and pored through old books, hoping to find some clue as to what he had stumbled upon. Hours passed, and his search seemed fruitless. But then, buried in the pages of a dusty, forgotten journal, he found a reference to the heart of the earth, a legendary gemstone that had been lost for centuries. The diamond, it seemed, was the heart, a powerful artifact that was said to have the ability to control the forces of nature itself. The journal spoke of an ancient order that had sought the diamond for generations, a group known as the Guardians. They believed that whoever possessed the heart could control not only the elements, but the very fabric of reality. However, the heart was also said to be cursed. Anyone who sought to wield its power would be doomed to a life of endless pursuit, hunted by those who wanted the heart for themselves. Suddenly, the pieces fell into place. The stranger, the man in the shadows, was one of the Guardians, and he had been after the diamond for years. But for reasons unknown to Dave, the diamond had chosen him as its new bearer. That night, as he sat in his apartment staring at the diamond under the dim light of his kitchen lamp, Dave made a decision. He couldn't keep it. The curse, the danger, it was too much. He had to get rid of it, to return it to wherever it belonged. But as he tried to pack the diamond away, something strange happened. It seemed to resist him, almost as if it didn't want to leave. The diamond pulsed in his hand, its glow intensifying, filling the room with a blinding light. And then, before Dave could react, the world around him seemed to shift. He was no longer in his apartment. Instead, he found himself standing in an ancient temple, surrounded by towering stone pillars etched with strange symbols. The air was thick with the scent of incense, and the floor beneath his feet was warm to the touch. In the center of the room was a pedestal, and upon it rested an empty space the exact size of the diamond. As Dave stepped forward, he heard a voice. It was deep, reverberating through the very stones of the temple. "You have come far, Dave, but you have not yet understood the power you wield. Will you use it for good, or will you fall victim to its curse?" The voice seemed to come from all around him, and yet it was inside his head. It was the diamond speaking to him. Dave felt a surge of energy, an overwhelming sense of responsibility. The weight of the decision before him pressed down on him, heavier than any tool or car part he had ever lifted. He looked at the pedestal and then at the diamond in his hand. This was the moment where everything would change. With a deep breath, he placed the diamond on the pedestal. The moment his fingers left it, the temple seemed to come alive, as if the walls themselves were breathing. The light from the diamond enveloped him, and Dave felt a rush of knowledge, of ancient wisdom and power. But with that knowledge came a warning, a realization that he would never be the same again. The diamond had chosen him for a reason. It wasn't just a key to other worlds, but a burden that would shape his destiny. Dave was no longer just a mechanic. He was now the guardian of the heart, tasked with protecting its secrets and perhaps, one day, unlocking its full potential. And so, Dave's journey had only just begun.